Okay, just waiting for confirmation here that
C'est bon.
we are live, and we are
We
now
are
live. Sorry guys, small crash on our side. Hopefully this will not happen again, and we are live again. If you're joining us right now, we are doing the second part of our reveal plan for the new expansion. We're here with Simon V, who's bringing us through the cards and talking about the cards with us. And we've just hit CM Spirit Severa. I don't know if you saw that, guys, but awesome spell schools here, and a very interesting ability. Simon, can you tell us a bit more about this ability, please?
The ability is kind of to get rid of chump blockers. Late game, when you want to block your opponent, you start dishing out creatures that are supposed to be early game creatures. So you just put stuff in play just to chump block, which is just you sacrifice a creature not to take damage. In this case, you will take damage because the creature will die first. The creature will die before the attack. So that was kind of the idea behind this kind of ability, just to get rid of small creatures.
Okay, so let's move on straight away to the creatures here. Again, 6 more creatures from the Necropolis faction. The first one is the Sahar Mummy. For 2 resource cost, 1 might, 103 stats, and at the beginning of your supply phase, if Sahar Mummy is in your graveyard and there are 5 cards or less in your graveyard, return Sahar Mummy into your hand. So, giving you the possibility of having a very cheap resisting card, maybe? What was the idea behind this one?
It was to get an early blocker that could give you time, and if it dies early on, it's going to get back in your hand. So it's going to get you some kind of card advantage. It's not an aggressive card. It was always meant as a card that you don't mind chump blocking at the beginning of the game.
Okay. The second one is the Rotting Mummy. Again, a 2 cost card for 2 might, 104 stats. When Rotting Mummy enters the battleground, put a poison counter on it. If Rotting Mummy dies during a supply phase, put a poison counter on every enemy creature, sorry, I added an other there. Very interesting ability here. So if the mummy dies during your supply phase, every single enemy creature will get a poison counter. That's quite fun to see. The new way of applying poison.
It's kind of a different way to try to play with infect and poison with Necropolis. It's really interesting to see how players will try to move that guy around to prevent him from dying and to get him to die at the right moment.
Yeah, awesome. The Rotting Zombie. When Rotting Zombie dies during opponent's turn, put 1 poison counter on all creatures in the same row. It costs 4 action points to play. It's got a 1-2-5 stats. Again, another interesting way of using poison in a sense that we haven't seen so far.
That was a theme that we went through for Necropolis. It was really around using poison differently than what we already had.
And the next one is Putrid Ghoul. For 4 cost, 3 might, 007 stats. At the beginning of your turn, put a poison counter on Putrid Ghoul. Putrid Ghoul attack is equal to the number of poison counters on it. So really focusing on trying to make this creature strong will also kill it off faster and faster. Another very interesting mechanic here using the poison counter, which will be quite interesting for Necropolis players, who will have to choose between having a more defensive stance here and you keeping this creature alive as long as possible, or going for an attack. And it can also be quite interesting to see some combinations here, using poison counters to boost up the attack of your creature in one go, maybe trying to get it become very, very strong.
With Might of Nature, he's going to take much less damage from his own poison too.
Of course, so that could be a very interesting combination we can see later on. The Albetal, not sure how to say that, sorry guys, Ghoul for 5 cost, 5 might, 338 stats, just a very sturdy creature, and definitely something that Necropolis needed. Not necessarily a creature with a good ability, but something just could be placed out there, giving you not only a good attack, good rotation, but also an excellent amount of health and life just to block off at that stage of the game, and maybe bringing more Necropolis players to higher resource cost creatures that we don't often see in game. The next
Yeah.
one is Damran the Tainted, and it's our first unique creature here. For 6 cost, 5 might, 3/7 stats, again very good. Infect 2, which is nice, and when Damran the Tainted enters the battleground or attacks another target friendly creature, gains Infect 1 until end of turn. So once again, trying to play around with that Infect, making it a bad thing, potentially, for most Necropolis players, but could also be a good thing if combined with the previous cards we've seen, where giving Infect actually does help you out in some situations.
Yeah.
Interesting combination here. This is a unique creature, which means you can only have 1 in your deck at all times. So you'll have to, I'm very curious to see how this creature is going to work out, if players are going to be using it or not. And finally, for Necropolis, we are going to be looking at the fortunes here. And the first fortune we're looking at is Eternal Battlefield for 2 cost, 2 fortune. It's a fortune ongoing permanent. When a creature dies, shuffle it into its owner's library at the beginning of your turn. Return Eternal Battlefield to its owner's hand. So giving you the potential of making sure none of those creatures can be banished, and potentially making sure you can reuse those creatures that you want that have been killed off during one turn. So think about those Pair of Death Seekers you guys really want to use as a Necropolis player. Instead of having to, you're getting an extra turn basically to be able to keep these Pair of Death Seekers in your deck, maybe not in your hand, but at least it gives you an opportunity to be able to reuse them later on in the game. Very awesome card, I would have to say. Despite it being quite a small card, I think it will have a huge impact on the gameplay. Yeah, there we go for the artwork. And the next card is Death is Not the End. Obviously, this is a motto for all good Necropolis players, and it costs 3 resource and requires 3 fortune. It's a fortune instant. Take target non-unique card from each player's graveyard and put it on top of their library. Interesting card. So once again, you have the opportunity of bringing back some of those very powerful cards to the top of your library, which means it will be the next card you pull out. Make sure you remember that. It will be the next card you pull out. And the same thing for your opponent. But as you are the one choosing, you can obviously choose a troll card. Serpentfly is always my favorite. So here we go. So that's for the artwork. Death is Not the End will definitely be another huge addition to the gameplay for Necropolis. And a life for a life, it's a fortune instant. Destroy target friendly creature. Destroy target enemy creature of equal or lower cost. Fair enough. So yeah, it gives you opportunity, maybe destroying some of those creatures who are nearly dead already, being killed off in your next turn, and giving you the possibility of killing off another creature. Any thoughts about this?
Well, it's certainly a worse full reaper effect, but killing a creature in Fortune is supposed to be kind of harder. But in this way, you could build a deck without having to resort to spells, and you could use that card to kill off creatures without having to use Soul Reaver.
Okay, so that again will be another very interesting creature or fortune card to see played in the metagame later on. And our final card for fortune here is the Harvesting of the Dead. 5 cost, 3 fortune to use. Take X target non-unique Necropolis creature cards from your graveyard and put them in your hand, where X is 1 plus the number of cards named Harvesting the Dead in your graveyard. Again, this is a new sort of thing or theme with some of these cards. It's X plus 1. Can you tell us a bit more about this card and other cards like it?
It was the idea of each faction playing with the graveyard, so making the graveyard matter in all the factions. So we created a cycle, an easy cycle of repeatable effects, not repeatable effects, but scalable effects that we could do in each faction.
Okay, awesome. And that is the last fortune card for Necropolis. What's the next faction you want to have a look at?
You said that we didn't see the neutrals, so if
we haven't seen neutrals,
go in alphabetical order, we could go to neutral and just tease people and skip Go Sanctuary later.
Yeah, that works for me. I like to keep Sanctuary for last. It's definitely my favorite.
I'm really teasing people because I know that there's a lot of people expecting us to showcase Sanctuary.
Absolutely. So here we go for neutrals. Let's start with, I was going to say let's start with heroes. I was being a bit stupid there. Obviously not. Let's go for creatures first. Neutral creatures. Here we go. We've got 7 new neutral creatures, and the first one is the Soothsayer for 2 resource, 2 might, 1 fortune. And when Soothsayer enters the battleground, search your library for a unique fortune card and put that fortune in your graveyard. In your hand. So yeah, it could be very interesting again to bring back some more some more fortunes and use them again. Yeah. Okay, let's get on to the next creature here, the Cactus Thing. I'm loving the name here, the Cactus Thing. Obviously, naming these cards is a huge step, and Cactus Thing is probably the best way of naming this card.
It's the Stone Thing, but from the desert.
Ah, okay. So here we go for 2 resource, 2 might, 0/3, 2 stats. Very nice for preemptive strike. This creature deals its retaliation damage before the attacking creature deals its attacking damage. So a very nice countering creature here for all factions. This is the first time that any faction apart from Haven gains preemptive strike, if I'm not mistaken. And it will be a nice addition to some of those stall decks, maybe giving them the opportunity of countering some of those early rush creatures with 3 retaliation. The next card is the Moon Phoenix, which looks like it's going to be a very interesting card for 2 resource, 3 might, 2 magic. To play Moon Phoenix, you must banish 3 target cards from your graveyard. When the Moon Phoenix dies, return it to your hand. This will be very interesting for loads of decks. Can you tell us a bit more about this one?
Well, this card was we wanted to do a Phoenix for a while, and we didn't find a way to do it until we stumbled upon this way. Especially since we were doing a series that's really based around graveyard, we wanted to have a card that uses the graveyard to fuel it. So it's not really a rush card unless you have a lot of gold piles or stuff that's expendable. It's hard to rush with that card, but it's really hard to get rid of permanently. Especially if you're not playing with Necros, because you don't have Graveyard Recursion in all the other factions. So you're always going to have some cards to banish, just to make sure that the Moon Phoenix comes back and back and back and back.
Yeah, and this is giving you a nice counter to all decks. Because it's a neutral card, everyone can use it, and it gives you a nice counter to some of those old-style mill decks that was making sure you had no more cards in your hand and constantly annoying you just by getting rid of all your opportunities and possibilities. And whereas this one will always be coming back to your hand, so you've always got something you can rely on, at least in your hand, even if it's not brilliant. Interesting card to add into the game. The next one is the Sahara Bedouin for 3 cost, 3 might, 2/4 stats. Yeah, it looks like it's a nice early starting creature here. Nothing too exceptional about this. No abilities. Nothing much to see. Quick look at the artwork and let's move on. Okay, the next one is the Burning Sand Elemental, a new one to the Elemental family here. 5 cost, a bit more expensive than most of them. 2 might, 3 magic, 2/4 stats, and fire burst of 3. When this creature dies, it deals 3 damage to all creatures in the same row. It will be interesting to see how this may play into combination with some of those direct damage spells, or even necropolis spells that will kill off your creatures. I don't know, it could be interesting to see on the battlefield, maybe giving more opportunities, more possibilities for combinations. Could be interesting. It does cost you quite a lot though, so I'm wondering if that's going to be very useful for most players or not. And the last card here, or the next card, is a very important card for many people here, as this is the community-made card. Simon, can you tell us a bit more about where this card comes from?
Well, it comes from the community first. We really like the effect that the community came up with. I think this is the ability that I like the most. But it's a really dangerous ability too, so we're careful with how we cost and put stats on these kind of things, because it can really get out of hand, and we didn't want to have a card that annoys people because it's too good. So I think we hit the right spot with the cost and the stats of that creature, but if it's successful, we could create more cards with this kind of ability.
Okay, awesome. So yeah, once again, you guys had a whole voting process on the forums and on Facebook to be able to create the card with us, and you chose different abilities, the different stats, etc. We made sure it was a neutral card so everyone could play it, and this is one of the new cards from the new expansion, and the artwork does look quite cool. If you want to see the speed painting of the artwork being done, that can be found on the forums and on YouTube. It is out there. It's definitely nice to see how this card was made. Next card is the Greater Air Elemental, and it's the last of our neutral cards, neutral creatures here, for 6 cost. Again, a bit more expensive. Another Elemental, which would be nice with Swift, which would be nice, and Air Heal, which means that whenever you're attacked buy a spell with an air from the air school with magic damage, this creature will be healed by that amount instead, which will be very nice for a 3/3/6 creature, meaning that you've got that slightly extra resistance that you may not have on normal other creatures. So it may be a bit expensive for what it does, but as it's neutral, it will enable you to use it in all your decks, creating the possibility of some fun combinations. We'll have to see what happens with that.
It's particularly Swift and Flyer that's interesting here.
Yeah, definitely. The Swift is very interesting, as it will enable you to attack and move in the same turn. The fact it's a flyer means that you can place it either in the front row or the back row, meaning you have a huge amount of choices about how to play this creature, and that will be very, very nice to use in certain situations with some of those direct damage and very quick damaging decks. So, we've seen the creatures here. I can't remember, did we see the fortunes last time for neutral? No, I don't think we did. So here we go. The first fortune is the Black Fang Extortion. Loving the name here. For 1 cost, 2 fortune until your next turn. This is an ongoing fortune. Until your next turn, cards that cost lesser than 3 resource to play cost 3 resource instead. Play only if you haven't played any cards this turn. Really nice counter to rush decks here if you haven't got anything to play early on and you don't want your opponent to play any creatures early on in the game. This is definitely the card for you, meaning that your opponent will be stuck playing very, very expensive cards and will have to either pay a lot to play those cards, or will not be able to play at all early on in the game. Very nice card there to add to those late game scenario decks out there who are having difficulty against rush decks. The second one is the Full Moon. Very nice artwork here. And for the stats, 2 cost, 3 fortune requirement. Fortune instant, take all creatures in your graveyard and shuffle them into their owners' libraries. This feels huge. Tell me about this.
It's kind of a counter to milling and also to graveyard recursion for Necropolis. Because everyone plays in the graveyard, and there's an academy that wants to empty your so if you do that, you're kind of resetting the clock on the game for the milling side. Also, if there's an Atropos or a Banshee in your opponent's graveyard, you do that, and he lost the graveyard recursion advantage that player had.
This could be very, very powerful for anyone playing Pair Death Seekers out there, and other very good expensive cards, that maybe those unique cards that you have problems getting. This could be very good as well.
But you do shuffle them in your library,
so
you don't get them right away.
Of course.
It's good.
I'm curious to see what will happen if people start combining this with the milling cards that will push you to banish your own cards maybe, and then you'll have fewer cards in your deck, and combining this with payers maybe or some other unique cards may give you some very interesting results, and we'll have to see how that develops in the meta later on. The next one is Cosmic Singularity. Again, a 2 cost card, 2 fortune requirements. Draw a card if Cosmic Singularity is discarded, banish Cosmic Singularity and shuffle both graveyards into their owners' libraries. I'm going to have to read this one again, sorry guys. If Cosmic Singularity is discarded, banish Cosmic Singularity and shuffle both graveyards into their owners' libraries. Okay, so...
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you about that card. That card is supposed to say you're not supposed to mill players with Cosmic Realignment. If you're trying to do that, you might hit a Cosmic Singularity, and if you do that, you reset the clock on your own milling. Milling is only supposed to be efficient with true milling cards. So using Cosmic Realignment to rely on that strategy is a bad idea when Cosmic Singularity is around. Because when you do Cosmic Realignment and Cosmic Singularity is discarded, all the graveyards are shuffled back in the library. But it's so a good counter against standard milling deck for Academy, because if you can discard this card manually, you will also restart the milling effect. And it's not that much of a dead card, because just paying for it replaces it. So if you pay 2, you draw a card. If you discard it with your fortune or your hero ability, you get to shuffle the graveyard. So that's a great counter for milling decks.
Okay, awesome. The next one is Second Chance of 3 cost, 3 fortune. Put target non-unique creature that died this turn on top of its owner's library. Again, very good again with some of those creatures out there, such as the Paired F-Seekers, and could be a nice, a nice combination to be able to get those creatures back into your deck, back into your hand. As, yeah, quite straightforward, really. I'm not sure what else to say with that one. So let's go on straight to the next one, which is Volunteers, which is a fortune ongoing. Until your next turn, at the end of each player's turn, that player may deploy a non-unique creature for free. They must meet its requirements. So it could be very interesting to play with some of these big creatures here.
I like this kind of card. It's not really competitive, but it's really interesting to see, okay, let's see who has the bigger creature. It's really a Johnny or Timmy kind of card, if you know the player archetypes. I really like this kind of card, even if it's not really competitive. It's really for casual play, and it's really interesting.
Okay. So it should be a fun card to see in the game, despite not really helping out later on. Truly in the competitive scene. The next one is Fortune Telling for 4 cost and 2 fortune requirements. Draw 3 cards, then discard 2 cards. Can you tell us a bit more about that? Does it take 3 cards from your deck and then discard the next 2 cards from your deck?
You draw 3 cards, then you choose 2 cards from your hand to discard.
Gotcha. Okay, so it does give you the opportunity of guessing that one card you absolutely need.
Yeah, it's another take on Stone of Enlightenment, which requires you 4 in Destiny. So this is not a cheap draw, but it requires much less in terms of fortune investment. So you can flash a card in a spell deck easily.
Okay, and I believe this is going to be our last fortune card for the neutral faction, which means it's available to everyone, and this is going to be a very interesting card, as it's called Time of Need for 7 costs, which is huge. 2/2/2 requirements, which would be very interesting to see if people actually do use this for 2/2/2 requirements, and it does give you a very good ability, which is search your library for a unique card and play it for free. Shuffle your library. Now this is going to be huge. It does require you to move up your requirements in Magic or Fortune sometimes if you're looking for those unique cards, but it will enable you to get the unique card you absolutely need, and it can be another alternative to some of these decks where getting that unique card is absolutely essential here. Not only that, it's also quite a cool artwork. We do recognize Frias in the back here, the hero you can get from the achievement, and yeah, nice artwork with an awesome white
Do you
dragon.
recognize Shinoshi?
Of course.
Because the card was supposed to represent, the art is representing Shinoshi tackling Frias down a mountain.
Yep, very nice indeed. Okay guys, we have reached the end of our neutral cards before going to...
there's events.
Events, of course, events. Sorry about that. Good thing you're here to remind me of this. Events, we have 4 new events from the expansion. The first one is Graduation Day. For 1 cost until the end of your turn, play with the top card of your library revealed. As long as the top card of your library is a spell card, your spells cost 1 resource less to play. What else to say than awesome? Anyone who's used to playing lots of spells in their game, in their decks, will enjoy this card a lot. And I'm guessing if you've got some very big spells, combining 2 of these graduation days will mean that you are reducing quite a lot the cost of those big spells. Very nice late game scenario card here, or even maybe very good for early game situations where you want to cast lots of fireballs maybe, or lots of early game spells, which can be nice to see. So there we go for our first event card. The second event card is Rise of the Nethermancer. For 1 resource, banish target card from a graveyard. Very nice indeed, especially if you're against a Necropolis player playing things like Choppers or Banshees, or even anyone playing players that you absolutely hate seeing being brought back from the graveyard. This is going to be a really nice addition to it, and a good counter to many decks out there.
Yeah, this card is going to be really useful, especially with Cosmic Singularity that shuffles. There's a lot of decks that could use just to be able to reshuffle your deck, because Cosmic Singularity makes you shuffle your uniques that are dead inside in your library. So you could use Rise of the Nethermancer to remove cards you don't want back in your deck before you shuffled it.
Okay, awesome. Next one is Week of Training for 2 resource. Until the end of your turn, until the end of the turn. Sorry, creatures with a base attack. What is that? No, that's attack of 1 or less will get +1 attack. So again, nice for rush creatures, right?
Yep.
I'm sure we'll be seeing this one in a lot of Inferno decks, as it's a nice addition to that early
Really good
gameplay.
with Serpent Flies.
Or with those Serpent Flies, I know. Those are awesome cards. Serpent Flies for the win. The next one is Eye of the Mana Storm. Mana Storm is a previous event from the previous faction expansion, which we probably all know right now. So obviously this one gives for 4 cost until your next turn. Target creature gains Magic Shield, which will be delightful for so many people, so many decks. And yeah, I get the feeling it's going to be very hard now choosing my events, because there are so many awesome events here to choose from. If you want to counter magic type decks, or if you want to counter Necropolis decks, or if you want to counter Fortune decks, you have so much choice going for you that it's going to be very hard to choose. So there we go. We've seen, correct me if I'm wrong, but we've now seen all the neutral cards. And before we go on to the next factions...
Now we're off to
Sorry?
Sanctuary?
Or Stronghold.
Sanctuary?
Or Stronghold. What's it? Okay, we'll go for Sanctuary next.
We could be really trollish for Sanctuary to be last.
Yeah, I think Sanctuary should be last, because there's so many people waiting to see Sanctuary.
Your choice.
I'd like to see Sanctuary last, keep the excitement levels up. But before we do, guys, just a quick reminder, welcome to the stream if you're here. Sorry, you're cutting up, Simon. I'm having problems understanding you here. Can you get closer, Simon, to the microphone? Or I'm having problems understanding.
It's just saying that the Sanctuary is the...
Okay, I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you very well.
Okay.
The stream is a bit laggy here on our side. So basically, welcome guys if you are new to the stream. This is Duel of Champions, a free-to-play card game. You can go and test it out for free. Download it from the website Duel of Champions. And basically, this is a Tuesday team stream, which we do every Tuesdays, every Fridays, from 5 to 7 p.m. And today's a very special team stream, as we are doing the reveal for the next expansion coming out. And we said it's coming out the 26th of September, which is in 2 days, guys. So if you're looking forward to it, this is going to be awesome. And I am Azza404, and I'm with Kamundi, who is the French community manager. I am the English community manager, and we are joined with Simon, who is working as part of the team in testing the new expansion, new cards coming out, and he is bringing us through the different cards. Now, we've seen so many cards already, and we've still got 2 factions to look at for the next expansion with loads of new cards. And so here we go. Let's start with the heroes for Stronghold. And the first and only hero for Stronghold that's being added here is, and I'm never going to be able to pronounce this properly, Zuleika, Renegade Wizard. You have to, correct me in your heads if that's badly pronounced. Earth and Wind Magic Schools here, 1/1 stats. And at the beginning of your turn, if your might level is 5 or more and your magic level is 4 or more, target friendly creature gains magic resist until your next turn, which could be very interesting if you're trying to keep creatures alive while you're wiping the board with some of those area of effect damage spells, such as the Earthquake, or even the insect swarms out there with this spell school, which should be very nice to see.
Yeah, with Might of Nature is really, she becomes a tank by herself. Well, not herself, but she creates tanks every turn.
Great to see. Okay, next one is creatures. And we have obviously 6 new creatures for the Stronghold edition here. And the first one is the Cowardly Gnoll. And we have to mention, though, that we're starting off at 3 action points here. So already no small creatures are going to be added here, which means that obviously we've already got loads of small creatures in this faction, and the main focus will be on creatures with slightly higher tier, everything going from 3 to 5 action points to recruit or cost or play. So here we go for the first one, the Cowardly Gnoll for 3 resource points, 4 might, 4/3/5 stats, very nice. If there are no other friendly creatures in play, destroy Cowardly Gnoll. So again, a bit similar to some of those previous things that we've seen out there, and would be interesting to see played. And yeah, obviously it's a strong card because it has got some very good attack, very good health there, but it does have the huge downside to it that it will be destroyed if that's the only creature left on the board there. So the next card is the Sahara Brute. 3 cost, 3 might, 2/5 stats, which are nice, and especially Bloodthirst of 1. Now, Bloodthirst is, it's in a way, the opposite of Enrage, where you gain +1 attack and retaliation for every enemy creature that dies, which will be very nice to see. So a nice addition to the Bloodthirst family here for the Sahara Brute. The next one is the Sahara Harpy, another one to the Harpy family. Doesn't require much to be able to play. Does cost 3, 103 stats with quick attack, which is nice to see. And at the beginning of a turn, return Sahara Harpy to your hand, which means that you will be able to attack very fast with this. And presumably, this is going to be a creature used a lot with those buffing cards to increase its attack output. But it does mean you're going to have to pay 3 resource every time you want to use it. So in a sense, the 3 health here are basically useless, as you're not even going to be having the time to... you just about have the time to block off enemy creatures, but it's not here to be a long-lasting tank. Although it does mean that if it's not killed off, you will be able to play it again with complete health there. It will be costing you a lot. It does have the quick attack again, that could be very nice buffed up. We'll have to see how this is used late game by other players. Next one is the Sahara Hunter here, which is a very interesting creature, as it has Ambush, which deals 3 damage to ambush creatures. Ambush abilities trigger when an enemy creature is deployed in the same row as this creature. So if you deploy it out there and the creature is deployed in front of it, it will automatically be dealt 3 damage, which is nice. It doesn't cost you too much for some very good potential damage output there. Does help you block off that row nicely. So have a quick look at the artwork there. And the next one, the Sahara Marauder here. Very interesting gazelle type of artwork going on here. For 4 cost, 4 might requirement, 2/16, which means that you do start getting a bit more health points here. It does have Swift, which will be nice as well, and Ambush of 1. Which again just adds into the power of this creature, playing it down as a shooter in the back row there, giving you that swift ability, which means you can attack and move in the same turn. Lots of versatility here, and nice blockage power to it. Really come down to, you can move the creature wherever you need it to block off incoming enemy attacks, which will be nice to see.
Before we go to the next card, I want to talk for Dan here, because he mentioned at the beginning of the stream how the orcs were really different. If you look at all the orcs, they have a look that's really more Mongol and Mongolian instead of what we used to see with a lot of skulls. They have a really different cultural influence, and the next card is really different in terms of the unique card is really different. She seems not to fit in Stronghold, but we thought it was interesting to have different people helping different factions. So if you switch to the next card, the Zephyria, the unique, you can see that this girl is not an orc. She's an academy mage that decided to defect and go help the orcs. So I thought it was really interesting in terms of flavor to add something more in terms of culture for all the factions. If you might notice also that some other unique creatures are not necessarily directly aligned with the faction they're in.
Yeah, this is a magic melee unique creature. 3/3/6 stats with 5 cost, 4 might, 1 magic requirements with magic resist, which would be very nice. And when Zephyria, Wind Chaser, enters the battleground or attacks another target friendly creature, gains swift until end of turn. This is going to be huge, absolutely huge, giving you the opportunity of making your very stronghold creatures gain swift will be very interesting, especially combined with some of those huge orcs and trolls we've seen in the faction already. Those existing cards will be very strongly buffed by this. Being able to give swift to a creature that has 4 attack with double attack in one go, that's just huge. I mean, aren't you scared this creature might be too strong?
She does cost 5.
She does cost 5, and yet that feels slightly small when you look at what it can give. I don't know.
Yeah, but there's also Anchor that completely blocks Swift.
Obviously, true. We have got Anchored, and from what I've seen, there are some loads of new cards with Anchored coming up. We will be looking at those very soon in the Magic department, especially, if I'm not mistaken. And talking about that, we have to start going a bit faster because time is running out slowly but surely. So we're just going to go slightly faster in here, so make sure, Seymour, you stop us if you've got something to say or something interesting to point out here. The first fortune we're seeing for Stronghold is Ancestral Guidance for 2 cost, 2 fortune until end of turn. This is a ongoing fortune. Target creature gains plus X attack, where X is equal to 1 plus the number of cards named Ancestral Guidance in your graveyard. Once again, the same mechanic here. The more of this type of card you have in your graveyard, the bigger the buff you're getting from using this card. Very interesting to see how this will be played later on in the game. The second one is Desperate Assault for 2 cost, 4 fortune. A bit more expensive in the fortune requirement side, but it is an ongoing fortune until the end of the turn. Target creatures gain +1 attack. If your hero has 5 or less health remaining, target creature gains +4 attack instead. This is a very interesting late game scenario card to really give you that small boost you need. Think about this on a Paired F-Seeker, for example, can be actually a huge late game scenario. I keep using the Paired F-Seeker as an example, but I really do find it's a brilliant example here, as it really does come nicely into combination with loads of other cards and game styles we get with the Stronghold faction. So yeah, it can be a very nice card.
Also, as an opponent, you might be scared just to get your opponent beneath 5 HP, unless you can kill your opponent. Maybe you would want to keep him 5 HP, just to make sure that he doesn't get out some desperate assaults.
Oh yeah, definitely. You're adding a strategic level here where the enemy will have to start thinking very carefully about what he wants to do. The next one is Rushing Assault for 4 cost, 4 fortune until end of your turn. It's an ongoing fortune card. When you deploy a creature, that creature deals damage equal to its attack to all enemy creatures in the same row. Once again, this is huge. This is huge. With some of those big Stronghold creatures, you can be expecting some lots of damage output potential here. And the next card and final fortune card for Stronghold is going to be Outraging Vision here for 5 cost, 3 fortune requirement. It's a permanent ongoing fortune card. Permanent, guys. Let's see what it does. All creatures with Enrage gain +1 to their Enrage value. All creatures with Bloodthirst gain +1 to their Bloodthirst value. At the beginning of your turn, return Outraging Vision to its owner's hand. So this is going to be, again, huge. Absolutely huge. I get the feeling that Stronghold really has had a huge buff in this next patch. And it's suddenly going to see some loads of combinations that are going to be devastating in the game. And some of those OTK decks will suddenly be becoming much more powerful, if I'm not mistaken.
Really powerful, really aggressive on all fronts.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens with that. That'll be quite interesting to see how it evolves and what combinations come out of it. So the next and last faction here, which we've been keeping secret, not really secret, but we've been keeping for you guys for last, is going to be the Sanctuary faction, and this is something that so many people have been waiting desperately to see. So let's take away the Stronghold, and here we go, guys, for our first glimpse at Sanctuary. And why do I have... Okay, it doesn't matter. Let's ignore that. It's a premium card. But the Sanctuary hero for today is Shallan, Voice of the Lotus, which again has some great destructive spell schools here, magic schools to use from, including... Earth and water. So you've got Might of Nature, Strength of the Sea, are 2 tremendously strong ongoing spells that you'll be able to use with this card. And I believe if we have time, we're going to be doing a small showcase match here between me and Kimundi. And if we have time, though I don't think we'll have time to be honest because it's taking a bit longer than planned, but if we do, I'll try and show you how this can work out into your favor. Now the ability is whenever a Sanctuary creature is returned to your hand from play, if your Might level is 4 or more and your Fortune level is 3 or more, that creature costs 2 resource less to play until the end of your turn. So again, giving you that potential late game scenario to really get some creatures back, strong creatures back out there on the battlefield quite easily, which will be nice to see. I
just want to point out one thing though.
Yes.
Whenever a Sanctuary creature is returned to your hand from play, that effect lasts until the end of your turn. So your opponent plays a Broken Bridge on you. That creature that goes back to your hand costs 2 less until the end of your turn. So the creatures that are bounced back to your hand always cost less. Who bounces that creature back to your hand? If it's you or So Throne is really, really less efficient against Shallan.
Okay, so moving on to the creatures for the Sanctuary faction, and yeah, here we go, the Sayama Stalker, which is again a bit of the same as you were saying early on with this new type of vibe here of the desert-themed creatures. 2 cost, 2 requirements, 203 stats, nice for a shooter. Early on to have immune to retaliation, ambush, which will be nice, of 2. Very nice to have. This is definitely something that's been lacking in the Sanctuary faction, is some early creatures here you can get on the board, which will mean that you've got some kind of meat shield here, although it's not really as much of a meat shield that it is a counter to a blocker, I would like to say, to new creatures coming in. Interesting to see early on how that changes and affects the gameplay. The Sayama Spy is the next one for 3 costs, 2-1 requirements, 205 stats, which is really nice to have. Nice healthy card for 5 health here for 3 cost in the Sanctuary, which we don't have very many of. When Sayama Spy attacks, draw a card, which is again giving us the possibility of getting more and more cards out from our decks, which will be very nice to see. And the next one is the Sayama Champion. Lots of Sayamas here, which this is just an awesome artwork here for the Sayama Champion with those 4 hands, sorry, 4 arms. Getting all confused there. But some absolutely great stats here for the Sayama Champion. 3 costs, 2 requirements, and when opponent has an equal or greater number of creatures on the battleground than you, Sayama Champion gets +1 attack and +2 retaliation, meaning that for 3 costs you can actually get a really strong creature, and this will be nice to see against some of those rush decks here. The next one is the Sayama Warden, another Sayama. They look like they're all Sayamas here. 4 cost, and this time it's a very interesting set of statistics you need to be able to cast it. 3-1-3 to cast it, which will not be necessarily easy to use for a lot of people here. But if you can, it does have some excellent stats with 2-7 here for a 4 cost creature. That's nice to see so much health, especially in the Sanctuary faction, which definitely needed more healthy creatures in it. Immune to retaliation, and when another friendly Sanctuary creature is returned to your hand, that creature costs 2 resource less to play until the end of your turn. So that again will be nice to see. So in combination with the hero we saw previously, this will mean that if you've got the hero out at the right statistics and the Sayama Warden as well, it means that any creature sent back to your hand will be increasingly cheap to play, which will be nice to see, again giving you that potential late game scenario of getting more and more creatures back out there onto the battlefield if they are put back into your hand. The next one is the Sayama Dune Prowler for 4 cost, 4 requirement, 305 stats with Outmaneuver. Outmaneuver is the first time we're seeing Outmaneuver here for this new faction. Sorry?
Outmaneuver on a melee. That's really
on a melee.
Really,
is this the first time we're seeing Outmaneuver on a melee creature?
No, we had that on Neorai, but
that's it. But she's a unique creature.
With the other Outmaneuver was it was really cluttered in the shooter side.
Yeah. So this does give you the Outmaneuver for melee, and it gives you a nice ambush of 2 here for a very decent card. Not much more to say about that, just a good, decent card there. Some nice stats, and a nice artwork here for the Raya Sibilant Seductress, and this is your first unique creature for the Sanctuary faction. 5 cost, 4-1 requirements here, but some great stats, and immune to retaliation, hypnotize, and when Raya Sibilant Seductress enters the battleground or attacks, target enemy creature cannot attack until your next turn. This will be very, very nice to see against those late game, very strong creatures out there. Or even just to annoy your opponent. I mean, whenever this creature attacks, you'll be stopping an enemy creature from attacking. So, excellent new, unique creature for the Sanctuary faction. And that is all for the new creatures. Let's go and see what they have in the Fortune department here. So, 4 new fortunes for Sanctuary. And Sinkhole is the first one we're seeing for 1 cost, 1 requirement. Return target friendly creature to your hand, draw a card. So this combines nicely with the two previous cards, the hero we saw previously, and the other creature card, which whenever a card is returned to your hand, they cost less to use. So that could be an interesting option if you have a card you want to relocate on the battleground, or if you have a card that you want to reuse the ability maybe, or maybe just you want to give it more health points, so replenish its health points. Could be a
it's
nice...
always cool to use with Stream Singers or with Coral Priestess.
Absolutely, those cards with some nice abilities are obviously a good target for this card here. And the next fortune card is Road to Enlightenment. For 2 cost, 2 fortune requirement. Draw X cards, where X is 1 plus the number of cards named Road to Enlightenment in your graveyard. So again, one of these cards here with the same type of gameplay mechanic that we've been seeing previously, enabling you to draw cards. Not sure there's much to say about this, so let's have a quick look at the artwork and move on to Zen Garden, which is a 4 cost 3 requirement card. It's a fortune ongoing permanent card. Target creature cannot attack at the beginning of your turn. Return Zen Garden to its owner's hand. A nice way of blocking off creatures, really. Just a good card here, meaning you can use it over and over. Not sure if there's much more to say, really. Just a good card here to block off your enemy from attacking.
Very straightforward.
The next one is Honor Binds Us. And for requirement 3 fortune here. Fortune ongoing until end of turn. All sanctuary creatures gain Honor 1. And this is going to be huge. This is definitely the boost we were waiting for the
Imagine
sanctuary
that
creatures.
with Takana.
Yeah, if we have lots of small creatures on the board, you're suddenly giving yourself a huge increase in power, because Honor 1 on a creature... Now, correct me if I'm wrong here, but Honor 1 means that every adjacent creature gains +1 attack. Which means that if you have 3 creatures, that middle creature is gaining +2 attack, because it has 2 creatures beside it, and if you've got a third creature behind it, it's gaining +3 attack, which means that...
And if you're playing with Takana, all those creatures get the bonus from Takana also.
Also, that's just huge. That is just huge. I'm guessing that Takana is suddenly going to become a huge creature to play. If you're playing pairs out there with some of those good Kenshis or Kenseis, that will be absolutely amazing to play with, and I'm looking forward to testing this out myself already. Okay, awesome. We've been through all the cards, I think, all the new cards. I believe we've got nothing. Oh, of course, no, sorry. The spells. I was going too fast there. I forgot to show you guys all the new spells from the new factions. The expansion here, we have got 7 spell schools to choose from. Which is the one you want to start with?
Water.
Okay, let's just go in order then, I guess. Water, here we go.
In order of the icons.
Sorry?
In the order of the icons.
Fair enough. Left to right, and then bottom row, or top, bottom, top, bottom, top, bottom, top?
I'll let you choose.
Fair enough. And the first spell school we're discovering from the Water spell school is Cold Fear. For 2 cost, 2 requirements. Enchant Row, permanent. Creatures from Enchanted Row with 2 or less attack cannot attack. Very straightforward. Not sure we're going to spend too long on this card. Just have a look at the artwork briefly. And let's go to the next one. Focused Mind. I like the artwork behind here. It reminds me a lot of these new Kenshi's type creatures we're seeing from the Stronghold. Sorry, Sanctuary expansion, faction expansion cards. 2 cost, 3 requirements. Permanent ongoing. Friendly creatures cannot be prevented from attacking and are unaffected by Berserk. Very interesting. So, this is a nice counter against those fortune decks.
Keep this card in mind when we fight.
Okay, will do. And so the next and final card for this, the Water faction, the Water Magic School, is the Ink Warrior, which, if I'm not mistaken, we've seen in the last stream. But let's have a quick look again. It costs you 5 and requires 4 magic to use, but deploy a copy of target non-unique friendly creature. This will be very nice to see, very nice indeed. And you're copying everything, including the life, or is this the basic creature you're copying with full life stats?
You're copying the original.
Okay, and does this copy... I was going to say something stupid. I was going to say, does this copy unique creatures? But obviously not, as you can only target non-unique creatures. But there's still an ability to copy things like Paired Deathseekers. If you've only got 1 left, or you just need that 1 extra Paired Deathseeker, and you don't have it in your hand, this is an option. For example, I keep going back to Paired Deathseekers, but I love Paired Deathseekers.
Obviously.
Okay, so next one.
You can copy a Serpentfly if you want.
Copy a Serpentfly. That is an even better idea, guys. Go and copy Serpentflies. The first guy to post 4 copies of a Serpentfly on the forums, I'll love eternally. Okay, so here we go. The first one from this spell school is going to be Spirited Away, which is an interesting artwork here. 2 cost, 2 requirements. Enchant shooter creatures. Permanent enchanted creature gains phased. Can you remind us what phased does?
Phased is an ability that's a drawback as much as is there's a good side also. That creature cannot be attacked, but also it does not it's not considered as being there, and as far as blocking goes. So if it's the only creature in a row, creatures can attack directly to the hero. So you could use that to protect one of your shooters, or you could use that to make one of the enemy shooters incorporeal. Well, not incorporeal, but you could go through straight a shooter.
Okay, great. Let's move on quickly because we don't have much time. The Nether Soul is the next one for free cost, 3 requirements. It's an ongoing spell. Enchant creature permanent. Enchant creatures attack and retaliation are always 0, which will be nice to see, I guess, against some of those big creatures. Deal 2 damage to all creatures that deal combat damage to enchanted creature. So again, giving you the opportunity of negating lots of damage, and yet you are getting a slight negative aspect to it if ever you have to attack that creature. So yes, you're rendering that creature useless, but if you attack it, you're dealing damage to your own creatures. Moving on straight away, Void Ripple here for 6 cost, 6 requirements. Banish target non-hero, non-event card from the battleground. Any cards you want except the hero and the events you can banish, which includes unique spells, which includes unique heroes, creatures, unique spells, anything you want, you can banish it, which would be very interesting to see again. Okay, and let's move straight away onto the Air Magic School here, Wind Magic School as some like to call it. The first one is Air Trap for 1 cost, but 3 requirements here. Spell ongoing enchant line permanent. When a flyer creature is deployed in enchanted line, destroy it, then destroy Air Trap. That is quite huge. It means you're blocking off. Obviously, yeah, it's an anti-Lamassu, as Kimundo is saying here, and basically, it's just going to be negating a line here where you can't deploy flyer creatures. Very interesting card to have. Just a quick look at the artwork there, and moving on, you can obviously go and check out the artworks again by pausing the YouTube videos when they're uploaded. And the next one is Homebound Winds for 5 cost, 4 requirements. Shuffle target creature into its owner's library. Tell us a bit more about this. Does it send creatures from the battlefield back into the library?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the goal was to have kind of a version of Soul Reaver in air. But it's not killing the creature, it's just sending it back home.
Fair enough, fair enough. It sounds like a very interesting capacity you're giving to lots of maybe non-Necro players who don't necessarily have access with their favorite hero to those cards. So yeah, awesome card to see. Excited to see how this will work out. And this, again, Forked Lightning, you have seen on the forums and you've seen in play last week. So we're going to have a quick look. So 6 cost, 6 requirements. Target 2 empty battleground positions. For each of those positions, deal 5 damage to every creature adjacent to that position. Awesome card, but you've seen this already, so let's go straight on to the next Magic School, which is going to be the Dark Magic School. Already loads of awesome spells here, so let's hope these ones aren't too strong. We'll be making this school very, very strong indeed. The first one is Shared Agony. Nice artwork there. 2 cost to use, 2 requirements, and it's an ongoing permanent spell. Enchant creature. Every time damage is dealt to your hero, deal that much damage to enchanted creature. So this means that if you're being rushed by someone, you just want to get rid of their creatures, all you have is spells, this is going to be a good thing. You counter it, you place it on your opponent's creatures, and whenever your hero is hit, your opponent's creature will be getting damaged. Or maybe you want to use it on your own creatures, I don't know. I can't remember if there were any situations where you might want to use it on your own creatures. There are a few creatures I can think of from the new faction, the new Academy faction, where this might be interesting to play. You'll have to check that out on your own when the expansion comes out in 2 days. Yes, the expansion is coming out in 2 days on 26th, but we'll be telling you that again later on. The next card is Cursed Bound. Yeah, that's it. Cursed Bound for 3 cost, 3 requirement, and it's again from the Dark Magic School. It's a spell ongoing, permanent again, enchant creature. When enchanted creature attacks, it deals damage equal to its attack to its controller, which will be very nice to see. I'm surprised this doesn't cost more, to be honest, because this means that if your creature's dealing a lot of damage, you're going to have to be very careful when to attack or not with that creature. Could be very interesting to see. Let's pass straight on to the next one. Enthrall here for 5 cost, 6 requirement. Spell ongoing again. Enchant enemy creature permanent. Take control of enchanted creature and relocate it to valid battleground position. If Enthrall leaves play, return enchanted creature to its owner's hand. So it's a bit the same as Puppet Master in a sense.
It was kind of a redesign of Puppet Master, what Puppet Master should have been. In a way, but we wanted to make it another card, so that because the spirit of Puppet Master is kind of different. So there's 2 cards that can take control of a creature, but this one is a bit more correctly designed, I should say.
Okay, and the next spell school is going to be a very popular one nowadays because it does have Might of Nature in it. And the first one we're seeing for the Earth spell school is going to be Sand Shield for 2 cost, 1 requirement. And it's again a permanent ongoing spell. Enchant creature. When damage is dealt to enchanted creature, remove 1 from that damage. So we've seen similar effects in previous spells and previous fortunes, if I'm not mistaken. Very straightforward again, so let's have a quick look at the artwork. There we go. And pass on to the next one, which is Mass Earthbound. Now, we've seen Earthbound in different forms already, and it will give you this ability until your next turn. Creatures you control gain anchored 4 cost, 4 magic. Again, very straightforward spells from this spell school. I get the feeling that we've got lots of very good spell schools already. No point really adding too much to this spell school. Quick look at the artwork, which is quite nice also. And next one is Deep Roots, again for 4 cost, 4 requirements, permanent. All melee creatures gain anchored. It's an ongoing permanent spell. So right here, we're focusing on giving the Earth School some very controlling spells here. Nothing that deals direct damage, nothing that really alters the battleground per se, but will give you the possibility of altering the effects and basically playing around here on altering the course of the battlefield without killing, without dealing damage. Quite interesting to see on a Magic school that already has so much damage potential and so many good cards. So nice addition here, I would have to say. Quick look at the artwork there. And yeah, I think we're going to go straight on to the next Magic school, which is obviously Fire. And Fire is very destructive, so I'm looking forward to seeing some very destructive spells here again. Fiery Death, just the name sounds good, for 2 cost, 2 requirements. Spell ongoing, enchant creature, permanent. When enchanted creature dies, deal 2 damage to every adjacent creature. Very interesting addition to the gameplay mechanics here. Gives you some great combinations. Why add in this? What was the idea behind it? Was it just give you more possibilities of damage?
Well, yeah, and it's also in the mindset of Fire being do not deploy with your creature adjacent to each other, whereas Air is the opposite. So you have Fork Lightning that forces you to deploy adjacent to avoid the Fork Lightning. And you have Fireball and Fiery Death that says now you have to deploy as scattered as you can to counter those effects.
Awesome. And the next one is Fire Blast. Deal 2 damage to all creatures of target line for 3 cost, 3 requirements. So again, we've seen lots of fire spells a bit like this one. I believe it's what is it? Fireball. That does about the same on a line with 4 damage, so this is basically scaling it down 1, which will be a nice addition to dealing damage early on in the game. Not sure there's much to add on that. Let's have a quick look at the artwork, and yeah, we'll pass on to the next one, which is Mass Rage. We'll love enraged creatures when we're playing things with Berserk, and definitely this does give you Berserk to all your creatures, so a very interesting capacity to add to your creatures. Can you tell us a bit more about Berserk, and can you remind us, sorry Simon, how Berserk works?
At the beginning of your turn, a creature with Berserk is forced to attack if it can. So walls cannot attack, but if a creature can attack, it will attack at the beginning of the turn. So that's a really cool card to use with Focused Mind, like the card that prevents your creatures from having Berserk.
Okay, interesting. So you're giving the enemy creatures
Berserk to every creature, yours and your opponent's.
Okay, I'm curious to see how this is going to be used in the game later when the expansion comes out. So let's have a look at our last and final batch of cards, which is going to be from the the Light spell school here, and the first one is going to be Aura of Healing. Again, playing into that whole bringing healing back to the front row here with the new expansion with so many good Haven cards. And if you've missed the beginning of the stream, the video will be posted on YouTube, so you can check it out later on and find out exactly what I mean when I'm talking about all those brilliant Haven cards. Aura of Healing does give you enchant creature, permanent. Enchanted creature gains heal of 2, which will be nice, definitely. So quick look at the artwork, but yeah, it's basically very straightforward here, giving you the option of healing creatures a bit more. Divine Judgment is our next card from the Light Spell School. For 3 cost, 3 magic requirements, deal 3 damage to all creatures that attacked your hero since your last turn. An interesting card here, which is giving you another way of dealing damage. Why add this card in when you already have so much damage potential in the Light School?
It's a different way to deal damage because there's a condition to deal damage. So it was an interesting twist for us.
Okay, do you think this card is going to be very important in the gameplay later on?
We don't know, but we could be surprised. I think this card is rightly balanced. It's pretty good, but players will tend to go more towards Word of Light if they go for magic. So we don't know. It depends on the builds that come out strong.
Okay, fair enough. And the last card of the expansion is heal an amount of damage equal to your magic level from all friendly creatures. Again, very basic, very straightforward. But what's interesting about this is that it does only require 1 requirement here, 1 magic requirement. So really, you can play it whenever, but it's up to you to decide how much damage you're going to be healing on your creatures. And obviously, the higher you go, the better it is, and the more interesting it is to use on bigger creatures. So once again, bringing this idea that if you're using big creatures, you can survive later on in the game, and you can heal those creatures for whatever amount of damage. And once again, bringing heal back in front here. Light up till now had a very strong direct damage component to it, and it's something we've found again with Divine Judgment. But with these 2 additional cards to it, which is Lay of Hands and Aura of Healing, we do get this idea that healing is coming back to the front of the game. Okay, guys. That is, unless I'm mistaken, we've gone through all the cards here. So Simon, do correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think we've seen all our new cards. We have seen 148 cards. Sorry?
Yes, we did. We've seen everything.
Okay, awesome, guys. But don't leave us too far. We've still got loads of things planned for you. We've only got about a quarter of an hour left to go still. But in quarter of an hour, we are going to try and get a lot done. Simon, thanks a lot for being with us during this whole two streams. It's been great to have you. It's been really awesome to have your insight into the cards, into the mechanics, and into how you guys have thought around building this new expansion. Any last words for our players? Anything you might want to say or warn them about or pinpoint them towards?
Well, it's been my pleasure to work on that expansion. It was really fun. It was also really fun to play with, to work with all the VIPs. As some of you may know, there's a lot of VIPs helping us balancing the cards. It's not just us designers. It's also a lot of players from the player base, respected players like Nature and Anchor, that are helping us, making sure that this expansion is really fun. So it's been a blast to work on. It's been a blast showing it to you. So I can't wait to see you on the battlefield.
Brilliant. Battleground, definitely Battleground. Okay, well, thanks a lot, Simon. Thanks, a huge amount of thanks to you for being so patient with us and waiting along. And hope to see you very soon on the Battleground, Simon. And definitely good luck. And hopefully everything will go as planned for the expansion. So we're going to be saying goodbye, Simon, for now. And I am going to be grabbing who's our first guest? Let's say Enclaysal Rancor.
I think it is Jason Paradise.
Okay, let's have a quick talk with Jason Paradise if he's available. I'm just calling him on Skype now, and we'll be adding him into Twitch if he is. Now, guys, do remember, yes, we do have Jason on the line here. Let me add him in. Jason, can you hear me? How are you doing?
I sure can. How's it going, buddy? How are you doing today?
Awesome, awesome. Jason, hi. Can you tell us quickly, briefly, because we don't have much time, unfortunately. I'm sorry to have to cut you up like this. We do not have much time, so briefly, can you tell us what your role is in Duel of Champions?
Yeah, most definitely. I am actually the community manager for our competitive side of things, the Road to Paris, which is currently ongoing, and that is basically going to be wrapping up here in the next month or so. We're just getting to the end right now. We've got 2 more bids left to give out. So 8 people will be all going to Paris for Paris Games Week at the end of October, and we will be crowning our 2013 World Champion.
Awesome, that sounds good. Definitely, guys, check out the website for all the information about that. Roadtoparis.com. The 2 is actually in, oh, you'll see it that way. Something I can't do it wrong around, but yeah, whatever. Road to Paris. You can find all the information on the website, on the forums about all the different events. Jason, tell us about what you're feeling. You're being trolled there by your co-workers, so definitely say hi to your co-workers. And if you want to drop a name or two so we can go and formally complain, then don't hesitate to do so. But yeah, tell us about.
I'm used to it.
Of course you are. You work at Ubisoft. Why not troll people? So yeah, tell us, Jason, what your feelings are about the expansion. Have you seen all the cards? Are you excited?
Most definitely. Most definitely. I think this is going to be a huge change to the competitive scene. The competitive meta is really about to change. We've seen so many slowpoke, so many OTK decks at that high ELO range and in high TLO in jackpot tournaments, and things are all about to shift this coming Thursday when the patch comes out for the expansion. I'm thrilled. I think we're going to see a lot of really awesome theory crafting. We do host an event every week on the forums as well called the Jackpot Challenge. This week we're going to be doing one specifically around Forgotten Wars Heroes just to see what we can get theory crafting wise, so definitely stay tuned for that. That's some way that you can win free seals, so free premium currency every single week on the forums. Make sure to check out the forums event subsection so you can get in on that.
Awesome. Jason, since you've seen so much about the cards, have you had the time to test it at all?
I actually personally have not. I have the mindset that although I work here for the game, I always play just as all the players would. I want to get my hands on it just at the same time they do, so that way I can come in with the same mindset. I love to talk with the top players and try to raise my elo just the way they would. So I'm waiting till Thursday just like everybody else so that I can get my hands on it that way and rock some socks.
Do you see one faction in particular come up really strong from this expansion?
I honestly am really interested in seeing Stronghold and Sanctuary in this upcoming expansion from all the cards that I've seen. I think Necro's still going to be strong, just like it is right now. But I don't know. I mean, there's so many different counterplays that are available. I think that there'll be a lot more options for the competitive side of things as we get to this next metagame shift that we're going to be experiencing.
So very briefly before we let you go, Jason, what is the next big thing in the Road to Paris scene that players should be looking forward to?
Yeah, most definitely. This coming weekend, we have the Eurogamer event where we will be crowning our 7th bid to Paris. That's going to be very exciting to see who comes out of that. I do know for a fact Matrix Disc. By the way, he's actually the former 2012 world champion. Great guy. If you don't know him, you should definitely check out his stream. I know that he is going to be doing a review of all the cards on his stream after we get done here, so go check that out after we're done. But stay tuned because we do have a special surprise for everyone at the end of the stream.
We do.
But back to what we're doing, Matrix Disc will actually be competing at Eurogamer later this week to see if he can actually claim a bid and defend his 2012 World Championship.
Yeah, it would be really nice to have him, definitely.
And then there's one more event, which is the Wildcard tournament that is ongoing right now for the final bid to the Road to Paris.
And can you explain the Wildcard tournament and who's invited to take part in that?
Yep, it was 16 players that came oh so close to qualifying, but fell just short. So second places, things of that nature. The top 4 from each of the online qualifiers that did not make it into the finals, the grand finals. So all those players are coming together and playing for that one final last spot. And we've already got some incredible players joining us in Paris. So for example, Nilly Combs, who's a top community member, he actually just won our August playoff. He's there. Oh Yao, who is a French player, our community manager community here on the stream. He is friends with Oh Yao. Really incredible player, great story. You'll be seeing more from him in the future. I can't wait. This next month for competitive play here in Duel of Champions is just going to be absolutely breathtaking.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry, Jason, I'd love to keep you on much longer to be able to talk about Road to Paris in detail. There's so much to say. Unfortunately, we are running out of time, and I'm going to have to say goodbye to you, Jason, right now. But thanks a lot, Jason, for coming on. And any last words you want to say to our players discovering the new expansion?
Yeah, shout out to all of our community. I have to say that we have one of the most amazing communities for an upcoming game, I think, that's out there at the moment. And I am thrilled to be able to be a part of it here with you guys. If you have not had a chance to experience the competitive side of things, I would recommend there's a great fan site for our game, and it is mmdoc.net. I would go check that website out. There's a great chat room. We all chat in there about the competitive metagame, things like that. Hopefully I'll see you guys there. and see you on the battleground.
Awesome, thanks a lot, Jason. And while we are grabbing our next invitee, I believe who's the next one?
Enclaze.
Enclaze is going to be our next person here. So I'm just going to have a quick call to Enclaze. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to see him appear here as he does not have a webcam. But basically, guys, if you are joining me today, joining us, sorry about that. If you're joining us today for the first time, welcome to Duel of Champions. This is a free-to-play online game, so make sure you go and check it out. This is a very special live stream that will be back on YouTube for you to see if you've missed it. The first part is already up there. And sorry, Enclaze, I'm just going to have to ask you to wait a minute. I know you're listening to us. But briefly, guys, if you've been with us for the stream, don't leave too soon. We still have a few things planned for you. So, Enclaze, hi, how you doing?
I'm fine. Hey, Asa. Hey, Kimundu.
Hi.
Awesome. Have you been able to watch the stream?
Yeah, I was watching the whole stream, of course.
Okay, well, tell us a bit what your first thoughts were.
What? My first thoughts. Okay.
So many thoughts, so many things to talk about.
Yeah, so many things to talk about. Definitely. I think obvious for everyone that Stronghold and Sanctuary will come out really, really big. But I'm also a big fan of Haven. I think with the Crusader that has the income too, with only 3 might requirements in combination, for example, with the Angel of Mercy, this will be really, really strong decks. For example, for Siegfried will come back maybe. And also the new hero Morgan, I think, is his name, can have a big impact into the new meta, I think.
Yeah, it could be very interesting to see how that's going to change. Have you been able to test out the cards at all?
No, I was not on the test server. I was not asking for it, by the way.
Fair enough, fair enough. And do you see, what's the first thing you're going to be doing when the expansion comes out next Thursday? Because it does come out on the 26th in 2 days. What's the first thing you're going to be doing?
Well, I have announced it already in the forums, that I will do a 24-hour marathon on my stream.
Yeah.
That, will be hard maybe, with some special guests and so on. And I will, try to get some new cards and
So,
maybe the first thing what I would like to do is build a new Zendalfon deck with the new Haven units. So that's what I probably will do on Thursday to Friday.
Yeah, it should be interesting to see how you handle all those new cards. Guys, if you don't know Enclaze, Enclaze is one of our top streamers in Duel of Champions. He streams on a regular basis our game and shows us some very, very good gameplay. I have to say, I'm quite impressed whenever I see him play. Make sure you check it out. He is planning a huge event. If you want to see all the events happening, make sure you visit the forums as everything happens there. All the announcements are made there in the first place. But definitely go and check out Enclaze's stream as he does have some great content. Enclaze, thanks a lot. Have you got any last words? I'm sorry, I have to cut you short because we're running short on time for everyone here. It's really a pity. I'd love to talk longer. Any
No
last
problem.
words to players about the expansion, about what they should be looking forward to, about any tips, maybe advice from a big player?
Well,
Where to start?
any advices? I would. I think I have not heard anything about it. Maybe you can tell me. But I guess the Swiss rewards will change again. So I guess with a Swiss win, you will also get a new package from the academy now.
Maybe.
Maybe. We can't confirm anything yet officially on the stream,
Okay.
but maybe that's something what we will be confirming in the forums in the next few days.
Well, if you have a good deck, I'm always giving the advice. Just play Swisses if you feel comfortable with it, and so you can farm your packs the best way, and the fastest and the cheapest way.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, well, thanks a lot, Enclaze. It's very, very nice to have you. I hope you've enjoyed the stream so far, and we are
Yes.
going to say goodbye for now. And we're going to be going straight to our next guest, who is going to be, if I can find him, who is going to be Rancor. Let's phone him right now, and hopefully he'll be available to come and talk to us a bit. Le Rancor is once again one of our top players in Duel of Champions. He has been around for a long, long time, and he knows the game quite well. And if you guys, again, are joining us now, this is Duel of Champions, which is a free-to-play game. Welcome, first of all. This is a team stream that we have every Tuesday and every Friday. But today is a very special team stream, as we have been looking at all the expansion cards. The expansion is coming out on the 26th in 2 days. We are really looking forward to that. And guys, if you've arrived, if you've been here from the beginning of the stream, do not leave too soon, as we still have a few interesting things to show you guys. And I believe we have Rancor here. Rancor, hi, how you doing?
Hey James, I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Awesome, awesome, thanks. Tell me, you've seen the stream, have you?
Yeah, the last half hour I've seen the card.
Okay, sorry, could you just get closer to your microphone, because I'm having a bit problems hearing you.
Okay, is it better now?
Much better, thanks a lot. So tell us a bit more about, have you been able to test the new cards at all?
Yes, I've been part of the tester community, and I've been testing Hero cards for quite some time now. And
Okay. Have you got any tips or any advice you want to give to players about the new expansion coming out?
yeah, so I've seen there has something like Inferno is weak, but I just wanted to throw a combo here. So you could play the Gate to Shock, which lets you reveal any, would let you play a stronger creature, and then use the Moon Phoenix to get rid of the weak cards from the graveyard. Revise Tactics to thin down your deck even further, and then use a discard with Cosmic Singularity to only have good cards in your deck, so you can reduce your deck to a minimum and then draw only good cards.
It sounds so complicated. I'll never be able to do that myself. But please, please, please write it down in the forums. I know so many people want to test that out now. It does sound like it has an awesome effect on the battlefield, and I'm curious to see what it does. So tell us a bit more about the testing part. How is that going for you, and can you tell us how it happens, how it works out for you guys?
Yeah, so we basically get the cards, or the cards they already implemented, and we start playing around with it and trying to find the abuses so we can eliminate them before, and we give feedback to the developers, and they usually have a good idea what to do with our feedback. So we don't like, I love Necro, so if I say, oh, Necro is a bit too weak, the devs don't say, okay, Rancor says Necro is too weak, let's buff them. So they know exactly what they do.
Yeah. Oh, it's good to hear, good to hear. I'm looking forward to testing it out. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to say the same thing I've told everyone else. We're running out of time. It's been a pleasure having you, Rancor. Any last words you want to say to the thousands of viewers watching us today?
Yeah, of course. Guys, you should definitely check this game out, and I'm ready to crush you in game.
Thanks a lot, Rancor. Rancor, you are, if I'm not mistaken, a streamer as well as a player, and you stream on a regular basis with Matrix Disc, if I'm not mistaken, giving out tips and advice. And guys, I would definitely suggest you go and find out all about that on the forums and find out when exactly they stream. Have you got any more streams planned in the future?
We're discussing those things. It's with the new expansion, there's a lot to talk about, so we will see.
Absolutely. Well, it'll be great to see you soon, Rancor. Anyway, thanks a lot for joining us today. It's been a real pleasure to have you, and I am going to say goodbye for the moment.
Goodbye, James. Goodbye, Kimundi. Bye, guys.
Okay, guys, it is now just gone 7 o'clock French time. I don't know what that makes for you guys. I'm not good at maths. I'm not even going to try and calculate that. But it does mean, unfortunately, it's the end of our stream. And I have promised you some fun stuff. So we do have... What do we have?
We have a special gift for you guys.
We do. We have a special gift for you guys. You have been waiting very, very kindly from the beginning for this. We've announced it a long time ago. So I believe Kimundi is going to be copying the small code we have in the chat. Now, thanks a lot, guys, for watching. This has been a pleasure, and this code is to thank you all. Kimundi is spamming the code. How dare he spam a code? Just grab it, copy, paste it. You can all use this code for the next hour. This is very important, guys. You have up to 8 o'clock French time tonight, or 7 p.m. UK time tonight. That is an hour to be able to redeem this code, and it will give you one heroic pack in game. So if you're a newcomer into the game and have just downloaded the game, which I'm sure you have because it's an awesome game and it's free, so make sure you download the game at Duel of Champions. The logo is in the stream down there, or sorry, wait. There, the logo is down there, or you can find links down at the bottom, if I'm not mistaken, and that will help you go and download the game. It's a free-to-play game. Go and check it out, and this code will give you, for the next hour, if you can redeem it in the shop, it will give you one heroic pack for free, which means you get, you get 8 new cards, including 1 new hero at random from, I believe, 16 heroes we've got in game now, from those heroic packs.
30, and no, much more.
Much more.
Much more.
So, it could be interesting to see what you guys get, and definitely try out the game. And are we doing a raffle today?
Not sure.
Not sure.
Space Elephant, are you there?
So if Space Elephant is here, he'll be able to tell us if we're doing a raffle today. If not, well, I'm sure you'll find that the code is more than sufficient for most of you guys. And whatever the case, once again, guys, I really do want to thank you for being with us. It's been an absolute pleasure to host these 2 live streams. Don't forget, the expansion is coming in 2 days' time on the 26th. More information about that will be given on the forums, but the game will be in maintenance from 4 p.m. Am I right? 4 p.m. French time. which is 3 p.m. UK time, and that should go on for 2 or 3 hours. More information will be coming very soon. But during that time, you will be getting Jason Paradise streaming on Twitch on this channel, so make sure you subscribe to get all the information. He will be streaming on this channel during the maintenance downtime, to make sure you guys have never got something else than Duel of Champions to do, so you can always be doing something related to Duel of Champions, and that is awesome. He will be streaming something very special. He'll be showing you once again the gameplay footage from the recent Road to Paris August qualifiers. That was it. And he will be commentating over the replays for that, as well as other cool stuff. So make sure you subscribe to the channel down below. I believe it's the subscribe button.
We are beginning a waffle, guys.
And yeah, we are just beginning a raffle, so all you have to
5
do
winners.
is type in !raffle and we will pick 5 winners. Now make sure there is a small thing you have to remember. Make sure you have subscribed to the channel if you want to win, as we do not accept any winners who have not subscribed to the channel. That is the only condition for this raffle. And the raffle will give you, if you win, if you're lucky enough to win, it will give you 1 Void Rising code, which will be very nice. 1 Void Rising pack that you can redeem in the shop, and you'll be getting loads of new Void Rising cards in there. So make sure you type in !raffle right now. And while you're doing that, guys, thanks a lot again for coming here. If you've just joined us, this is the end, unfortunately, of our stream for Duel of Champions, but don't worry, Duel of Champions is a free-to-play game, so go and download the game and try it out for yourself. There are loads of codes you can find on the forums for lots of free stuff. We've given us a code today that is only lasting 1 hour, that ends in an hour, so you can only redeem the code for 1 hour now, so go and redeem it now, otherwise you will be missing out in 1 free heroic pack. And the raffle is going on. I think it's time to close it any second now. What do you think, Commander? It's been a bit short, but hopefully most of you will have time to enter it. And don't forget to subscribe now to Duel of Champions Twitch channel, so that you can enter the raffle, because we're only taking the subscribers or the followers to our channel as winners. We will be taking 5 winners at random throughout all those who have subscribed and entered the raffle. Shall we? So just a quick reminder, if you've missed part 1 of this team stream reveal, as well as if you've missed today's team stream, don't forget that part 1 is already up on YouTube and available for you to go and see and watch and check out. Lots of people have already seen it. Don't be the last ones to see it. And the second part of our team stream will be available in the upcoming days as well on YouTube. And if you haven't subscribed already to our YouTube channel, go and subscribe to that as well, because that is where loads of important videos are posted, including reveals to different things, such as the Infernal Pits and such as the Altar of Wishes that have come out, that is going to be coming out very soon. Lastly but not least, just a quick reminder, we are closing the raffle, so make sure you subscribe to the channel. The raffle is now closed, and we are going to be drawing our first contestant, who is Dear Blue-Eye, something like that. And you are following Duel of Champions, you are our first winner. Congratulations, we have been adding you to the winner list. Make sure you check your inbox on Twitch, as that is where we're going to be sending you the code. Are we ready to pull out the second winner to our raffle out of 5 winners? And here we go. And the second winner is going to be Nuggets with TZS at the end. Quite like it. He is following our channel, so once again, congratulations, Nuggets. You have won a code that we will be sending you once again. And can we get another one? Our third out of 5. Top 8 Gamer. Congratulations, you are following Duel of Champions, and you will be getting that code again in your inbox. So here we go for our 4th out of 5 winners, and our 4th winner is Fly Me to the Moo.
Fly Me to the Moo.
Couldn't add in that N at the end, so Fly Me to the Moo. You will be getting 1 code as well. You are following Duel of Champions. Congratulations. If you're not following Duel of Champions, that is bad. Follow Duel of Champions now. And the last one is Mummy 2010, and once again, you are following Duel of Champions. So congratulations to our 5 winners. You will be sent a code very soon in your Twitch inbox, so make sure you check out that. We have arrived to the end of our stream, guys, so this has been an absolute pleasure to be able to show you these cards. Thank you, Kumundi, for helping me out during the whole stream. It's been, exhausting, but so much fun to be with you guys. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Make sure you check out the forum, Facebook, Twitch, subscribe, all you can. Twitter as well, where we give constant news and feed. And enjoy the expansion.
I think Space Elephant want to have a final word.
Let's have a quick final word with Space Elephant. Let me just grab him. Here we go. Space Elephant is going to be coming online any second now. Hey, how you doing, Space Elephant?
Hey guys, I'm good. And what about you?
Awesome, thanks. So, how did you enjoy the stream?
Oh, it was awesome. I really liked seeing all of those new cards, the spells especially, and of course all of the players watching the stream. We broke a new milestone here with more than 3.5 thousand followers. So
Awesome.
yeah, it was awesome, guys. Thanks for your great work. Thanks, our players for watching it. Yeah, we had a lot of great time actually.
Okay, great. Well, Emil, Space Elephant, do
Yes.
you want to give us our last final goodbye words to the players watching us today?
Yeah, of course, guys. Thanks a lot for the love. Don't forget to watch Matrix stream right after ours. It will be going through all of those, all of the information that we talked about today. And yeah, stay tuned for all of the maintenance times on next Thursday when we'll be pushing the new expansion. So it will be published, of course, on our server Twitter feed, and of course on the forums, Facebook, and everywhere else. So yeah, stay tuned, guys. It will be awesome, and we'll have also a special program during the maintenance with Jason Paradise about some Road to Paris tournaments. So yeah, stay tuned, guys. It was awesome having all of you here. Thanks for your great work, Aza and Kemundi and Jason on the chat, and Nisevaros as well. Everyone that joined us today. It was a great event.
Awesome. Well, thanks a lot, Emil. And
Yeah.
guys, take care. And this is goodbye. See you soon on the battlefield.